Hey y'all, we're at the Texas Prison Museum. I don't think any other state in this country has a museum for prisons. Nobody does prisons like we do in Texas, unfortunately. It's kind of terrible. We're in Huntsville, Texas. This is where most of the state prisons are. So let's go check out this museum. It's not funny, I'm sorry. You'll see what I'm talking about when we get there. They even have a replica guard tower outside the museum. All right, and right outside the prison museum is the correctional officers memorial. So this is a memorial to all the correctional officers that were lost in the line of duty. They have trees all around here, and the trees all have memorial plaques on the bottom to memorialize an officer lost in the line of duty. The Sesquicentennial Monument and Plaza was dedicated September 11th, 1998 to mark the 150th anniversary of corrections in Texas. It honors the men and women who valiantly served the state of Texas in the correctional system for the past century and a half, as well as those serving now and in the future. Here you have the history of the penal system in Texas.
It goes faster.
This is a fountain. It's a dribbling fountain right now. All right, these rodeo chutes were part of the Texas Prison Rodeo at the time it closed in 1986. The prison rodeo was a freaking rodeo here in downtown Huntsville, Texas. They took it away. The warden at the time decided that he didn't want the prisoners actually having any fun. And in the rodeo arena, they actually put the solitary confinement pits right in the middle. So they used to do rodeo. The prisoners would go out there and entertain the locals, getting on wild bulls and horses and stuff. You can't see it when you're up close, but from far away you can see that the guard tower has a guard watching out. He's waving. He's a friendly guard. Alright guys, when you come in, you'll see all this merchandise for sale. This is all made by inmates in the craft area, and all throughout the museum you see these paintings. They're all done by prisoners and they're purchased by the museum. When you come in and you pay your admission, there's a video you can watch, and I do highly recommend you watch the video. It's pretty educational and tells you about the Texas prison system. So everything in here are stuff from prisons. These benches that we sat on to watch the film were used by the prisoners at the Ellis unit. They watch TV on these things. You exit, you come out, and this is what you see. Here is a model of the Walls unit. Like I said, this was the rodeo arena, and they have the solitary confinement in the middle now. But when you drive down 12th Street in Huntsville, you can see, they call this the Walls unit. You can see these big brick walls. You drive down the street. It's pretty intimidating for sure. Here you got your famous and infamous Texas inmates.
David Crosby.
Juanita Phillips, Candy Bar.
I think he's like a singer.
Yeah, well, you know. Clyde from Bonnie and Clyde. Leadbelly. How do you lead better? Leadbelly. He's got a really interesting story. He basically got let out of prison because he could sing so good. John Wesley Hardin, he was a famous outlaw. Thompson. Henry Lee Lucas. World-class athlete. Became addicted to cocaine. Damn. Here's a painting by Annie Williams. And her comments about her mixed media. Some inmate money in their cards.
Appreciation to them is all receiving their DBCJ.
Being hurt and coming back and cutting legs. Fill the hole that maybe has been caused by things that you've done. Experiences that you've had.
One thing that's famous for prison work is making license plates. Apparently they make mop handles and face soap. You can see women printing out some things here. Meat packing, shoes, all kinds of industrial type things. This is what you would see when you would get thrown into death row. This is the sign that it was almost over. Here is stuff from the prison rodeo. Mechanical bull. This is fascinating to me. Get your animal abuse and your people abuse all in one thing. You see there, they play a loop of videos from the old Texas prison rodeo days. Look how fun that looks. So this case is stuff owned by Lee Simmons. He was in charge of the prisons. He started the prison rodeo. He even wrote a book, he wrote a memoir. And there's his Texas prison system badge. And he had possession of Bonnie and Clyde's pistol removed from their death car. And then these are all weapons found used by inmates. Look at this thing down here, holy crap. Here's a replica cell. You know what it was like. Here's your toilet. Your little table. Your 2 beds. Not a fun place. The old barber chairs. So right here is a case with all of the service awards for the prison system employees. And my mom just reminded me that my Uncle Bob actually worked as a prison guard in Jacksonville, right?
I don't know, I think Palestine.
Or Palestine, somewhere up in East Texas. We lost my Uncle Bob this year, not due to COVID, but just lost him. But yeah, sometimes you don't even think about people in your life that are affected by the prison system in one way or another. This is a giant saw blade turned into a piece of art. Mom, can you come here and stand next to this blade so we can get an idea of how huge this is? How tall are you, Mom?
5'4", 5'5".
You're 5'4", 5'5". This is taller than you, Mom. I mean, it's on casters and a board, but it's huge. Huge piece of art. Actual saw blade. Donated by the Ellis Unit Wood Shop. The paintings are depicting various scenes from the 50s and 60s. This is the way the Walls Unit looked from the inside looking out. They grew their own food, plowed the fields, baled hay, made and repaired wagon wheels, and still picked cotton. This side was done by 3 artists, Mike Jewell, L.B. Turner, and Vern Viddick. And let's see on the other side. We got some prison rodeo scenes through the eyes of Vern Viddick. Look at those dudes. All right, this is armor. They used to protect themselves against like getting shanked and stuff. Wow. All right, so we got the saw blade from the wood shop, but they made so many great things at the wood shop. Here's a painting that is not made in the wood shop, but another great artist painting. And here we go. Pieces made in the wood shop. We've got this boat. Fancy desk and chair. Look at this. Yeah, it's a clock. It is a moving mechanical clock. That is awesome.
Yeah, and it's got the correct time on it.
We've got the pendulum down here. Handmade by inmates. That is awesome. That's a really cool piece of art. Got all kinds of furniture here. Here we have handmade prison tools, a lot of them weapons. Choking device. Processor. An altered boot, so you can slip something in that boot down there. Speakers. Counterfeit notary stamp. Some of these criminals are homemade telegraph key. Sending telegraphs. Here we go. We've got glass shanks.
You
all
think
kinds
if
of-
there was one?
Somebody's making moonshine up in that prison. And they're making music, playing sports. They even had their own jerseys and helmets. Look at that. There's even a Huntsville rodeo band. I got to check out that album. So they do have a cemetery for the inmates that pass away or are executed and aren't claimed. They call it Peckerwood Hill. It's officially called the Captain Joe Bird Cemetery. Interesting story. So people protest executions. They started off hanging people until 1924. And that's the sponge used to help with the electric chair, to help conduct the electricity. And for the lethal injection, here's the drugs used and how they do it. Here's the bag that they administer it, the big long needles. And around this last thing, they tell you about the history of capital punishment in Texas the electric chair, and the lethal injection. And around this last thing, we see these are all around this last thing. These are relatives, usually parents of people that were murdered, and it has like their statements after the murderers were executed. So there's the killer's last statement and the family members' statement about seeing the murderer be executed. So it's pretty powerful, strong stuff. And here is the centerpiece of the museum. This is Old Sparky. This was the actual electric chair used to execute inmates as long as they used this method. All right, so Old Sparky was used from 1924 until 1964. 361 men died on this chair. It would work by just putting a shit ton of electricity through somebody. If you ever saw a video from Faces of Death or anything, it was terrible. It was a terrible, inhumane way to die. It was ruled unconstitutional, and that's when they went to the lethal injection method. So this is part of history. This is part of Texas history. This is part of Texas correctional history. And that's how it is here. If you kill somebody, you get killed. So they used to also call it riding the thunderbolt or ride the lightning. Thankfully, maybe that's where Metallica got that song from.
I don't think it would be.
Fun shirt. This is a nice Christmas present for all your jailbird relatives. They even have Bonnie and Clyde shirts. I'm not sure how much time they did because they got shot.
Yeah.
All of this stuff made by inmates.
Right now she's on the line too. I'm looking at it. All right, I'll just put you on hold and see, okay?
Got corrections warden
Sir,
medals,
you're wanting to place an order?
lieutenant medals. These are not made by the inmates, I guess.
These are nice.
Yeah.
Were these made by prisoners?
Yes, ma'am. All the leather, metal, and woodwork you see.
Wow.
You need a gun holster? Do you need a "Don't Tread on Me" gun holster? All right, guys, that was our adventure at the Texas Prison Museum. It's a pretty matter-of-fact place. It's not promoting it's not promoting prisons or downplaying prisons. It's just saying this is what it is, and they do
The history of it.
Yeah, it's thank you, Mom. It is they do show you the history, and they do sell things from the inmates so they are doing things to help the inmates that work in the craft area. So it's not all negative. It's not all positive. It is what it is. So if you're in the Huntsville, Texas area, it's $7 for general admission, $5 for seniors and children. And I don't think it's really made for kids. I don't think they'd really enjoy it too much. But I found it interesting. The relics they had there were cool. So if you are in the area, the guy working there, Roger, was very friendly. He's very informative and answered any questions we had. And I'm sure whatever day you go there, whoever is there will be the same. But like I said, if you're in the Huntsville, Texas area and you want to check it out, it's definitely something you should see at least once. To see old Sparky in person it's weird. You see something that was used to kill hundreds and hundreds of people. It's just wild. There's an energy there that can't be explained. So anyway, that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. If you haven't done so, leave a like, leave a comment. What did you think of this visit to the Texas Prison Museum? Just leave a comment. And remember to, if you want to do your own kind of show, use StreamYard. And if you're thirsty, murder your thirst with liquid death. Use my affiliate link down below. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and please subscribe to this YouTube if you haven't already. And always drink water, listen to metal, and enjoy nature. Happy ho-ho holidays from me and my mom.